Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am officially back doing this.
I'm back, baby.
It's been a very long time since I've done this video for a while. If you're new to this channel, guys, if you have not aware what I'm doing, yes, I am doing now a how to not to criticize the MCU videos. Every month or so I do a certain video on a certain YouTuber who gives out really bad points on the reviews on the MCU. Anything films or shows, I will give my honest take on them, while also try to give them fair criticisms. Just keep it fair, this is constructive criticisms only, so this is not me attacking anyone for their own opinions. So, in today's episode, I have come across with this YouTuber named JurassicGodzilaFan, who did a review slash rant on the Thunderbolts, and from what I've seen, it's not looking good. So I think a response video would be a good idea for this video, for this episode. So let's get right to it and see what he says, and let's just jump into it. And of course, if you want to watch the last episodes I did, check out the playlist right here, ladies and gentlemen.
Bring it, bitches!
People like this film, and okay, there's nothing wrong with that. It's your opinion. If people like this film, to each their own. I don't. I don't like this film, and I don't get what's so good about this film. I don't get the praise this film has gotten. I don't. This film has an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes, it's a 7.3 on IMDb. I don't get it.
Yeah, sure. It's completely okay if you didn't like the movie, I understand, but as long as you make some good points, then I'll look into that maybe in the future video at some point later on the line if you want me. He also said how this film got a lot of praises and how people loved it. Well, there's some good reasons why I consider it as a fan favourite among Marvel fans and mainstream audiences. It has a good feelings about mental health and depression, and has some great characters, it has a great story behind it. It also has some great decent action scenes along the way.
And yeah, and Marvel has not been doing that well either, except Deadpool and Wolverine, that made $1 billion. But I said this time and time again about Deadpool and Wolverine, because the reason why the film worked, I'll say it again, the reason why the film worked because fans wanted Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds a full-on Deadpool Wolverine movie, and their chemistry in that film worked. That's why that film worked. Here, I don't buy the chemistry between any of these people. You know, I don't give a shit about Yelena, who was Natasha's Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson's sister. I don't give a shit about Yelena. I don't give a shit about Black Widow. Does anyone remember not Black Widow, Ghost? Does anyone remember and give a shit about Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp? That was the second one that was forgettable. Does anyone care?
So you're saying that Deadpool Wolverine worked because Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds' chemistry worked so well compared to Thunderbolts? Come on, dude, that's a little bit harsh in my opinion. Do I think that? Yeah, I think so. The Thunderbolts' chemistry in the film works so perfectly well. It's all the characters are related to one another, how they deal with their battles, and how they come together as a team, and how functional they are, what they are become from the past MCU series of films where we've seen them in the past. As far as Ghost, well, yes, Ghost might be the least favourite out of the bunch, since she wasn't that interested in Ant-Man and the Wasp, but now since I've seen her in Thunderbolts, she has become a bit of an interesting character. And of course, all other characters have their own unique design. Of course, Yelena, hello! Yelena is the most likable and most fun MCU character, or the most fun female character in the MCU so far. Come on, dude. She's probably a fan favourite out of all a bunch. Even freaking Red Guardian, which I will talk about soon enough when we get to that in your review, so we'll get to that soon enough. But come on. And you also said that Deadpool Wolverine worked because of how much money it made at the box office. Dude, you do realize Spider-Man No Way Home, and of course Doctor Strange The Multiverse of Madness, and even so Love and Thunder made tons of money? Like, come on. Now, look at the Fate Saga for prime example. Look at, for example, Guardians of the Galaxy. Nobody gave a shit about that when they first announced it, but ever since it released, everyone freaking loved it. Everyone has been the most fan favorite out of the whole MCU movies as a whole. So your argument is that nobody gives a crap about the Thunderbolts? Come on.
David Harbour, I'm sorry, he's once again he's playing Red Guardian. He's being a goof. And at this point, I just don't give a shit about David Harbour. I mean, his Hellboy film was horrible. I don't care about Stranger Things. I think it's an overrated show. The only film I think he was worth a shit in was Violent Night.
Oh, come on, you're exaggerating over that one. David Harbour's Red Guardian's actually quite a fun character to watch. Well, yes, he is a bit silly at times, but he's not doing it for the sake of, oh, let's make him silly for making silly. He's a fun character to watch, and he definitely delivers some really funny moments and funny dialogue, and also he does show a little bit of moments that he can take himself seriously. Especially the moment, like you mentioned in your review, about him talking to Yelena after she had walked away from the group after dealing with Sentry, so I don't really get your argument on that one.
Wyatt Russell as once again as John Walker, they shit on his character still. They still do, because he was like the best part in that Falcon Winter Soldier TV show, because he was interesting and I felt sorry for his character. Wyatt Russell was the best part of that, and he did a good job though, because at least I felt sorry for his character, because because in this film, not only do they still shit on his character, but they made him a goof now, and also in a kind of an asshole in a way. Because the asshole part is like, well, when after they met Bob, after the incinerator happened, right? And it's like, we need to throw him back in the incinerator. I'm like, that's not John Walker at all, okay? He helped innocent people towards the end of the show. That's not John Walker at all.
Yes, I can see you're coming from a John Walker. Yes, he's an asshole, but that's he's meant to be. He's meant to be an asshole, and he even admitted that he's an asshole and a bit of a dick at the same time. But you do need to look at the context of his character. John Walker is meant to be a hearted but yet somewhat arrogant character, or the American version of what Steve Rogers could not be like John Walker with his attitude when he became Captain America in the Falcon and Winter Soldier, which is a bad thing in his part, especially after he lost his former partner who'd been killed by one of the Flag Smashers in that show and caused a public murder, and he of course was stripped away from his Captain America role and rebranded himself as US agent at the end of the finale. So you're basically missing the point. Well, yes, he did redeem himself at the end of the episode of that show, but that doesn't mean he still has his problems as a character. Him getting divorced by his wife and not paying attention to the child instead of looking at stuff he's done wrong and his wrongdoings, or still being arrogant that he is. So he's still John Walker, so what's your point anyway?
They made him a goof, like the jokes, like especially towards the end during the post credits, right? Or mid credits, when they're saying, we have a space crisis, and John's like, what? We're running out of space? And Yelena goes, outer space.
You just misunderstood what Yelena was saying at the time. And of course, if you don't like the scene where they both argue about outer space thing, okay, fair enough. That's subjective. If you don't find the movie that remotely funny, or certain jokes they put out in this film, that's completely fine. I get it. Humor's subjective, but yes, I laughed a couple of times. Not all of it has landed, but I did got a good laugh at certain jokes or certain humor. But you don't find certain stuff funny, okay, fair point, but fair deal, whatever, I don't care.
So, and then Sebastian Stan, once again as Bucky Barnes, he's phoning it in. You can, from the look on his face, it looks like he's bored out of his mind, and you can tell he doesn't want to be in this movie.
Come on, you're being overreacted again at this one. Sebastian Stan's performance is not phoned in. He's just doing the same thing he's did before since the first Avengers, so what's the point?
And Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I mean, what do we know about her character? She's been working behind the scenes. We see her pop up from some of the TV shows like Falcon Winter Soldier, a little bit Hawkeye, or at the end of Black Widow, the movie, where she tried pitting Yelena against Clint, Hawkeye, thinking that he killed her sister. She pops up in Black Panther 2. What is her role in this? I still don't know.
Have you not been watching the most recent MCU stuff? Valentina's actually quite an interesting character. Well, yeah, she's not the most fascinating or most interesting character of them all, but you do get certain backstory with her about her father being shot by someone in the front door, while also seeing her as operated by the CIA or director of the CIA, and also married to Everett Ross and also divorced. And of course, he recruited John Walker and Yelena, so that's it.
So we see Yolanda, once again played by Florence Pugh.
It's Yelena, not Yolanda. I keep pronouncing that name very, very wrong. You know, it kind of reminds me of a certain YouTuber's got the names wrong, and I can't figure out who though. That's kind of interesting.
Which I don't like because she was nothing in the first Black Widow film. That's another pointless movie, which I don't care. No one remembers Black Widow because it's filler. The movie. It's nothing but a filler movie that leads. It's absolutely pointless because it doesn't matter because Scarlett Johansson still dies, so that film was pointless.
Well, yes, I can see what you mean by the Black Widow movie. Well, yes, it is a filler. I will give you a point to that. I will give you that point. But the thing is, I actually come to appreciate Black Widow a lot more. Say what you will of the Black Widow movie, even if you love or hate it, but it's a good thing that we got that film because it gives us two key players, Yelena and Red Guardian, so that is something to take away from.
But she was in that, and I didn't care, give a shit about her either. Let alone, and let alone with her, I don't like Midsommar. That's one of the most overrated excuses for a horror film I've seen in a long time. She was in that, I hated her in that film, I hate Midsommar. Every time I see Florence Pugh, it takes me back to that horrendous Midsommar movie. But at least I will admit she does have like two good scenes. I'll give to Florence Pugh when she's talking to Bob, you know, about his issues, and also when towards the end when David Harbour is talking to her. I'll give Florence Pugh that. I think she had a decent bit of drama to her character with those two scenes there. So I'll give Florence Pugh that, okay?
Okay, that's fair. Fair point. That's a good point there. Well,
Bob comes out of a crate or whatever he comes, a box, whatever. He has amnesia, and Bob is played by, aka the Sentry, is played by Louis Pullman.
Louis Pullman. It's Louis Pullman. Can you please get the names right, please?
He was the best part of the movie as Bob, the Sentry. I liked his acting because it felt natural. He just like flowed with his acting, I would say. That's why I say it's natural, the best way to put it, you know? Because how the way like dealing with his issues and not remembering stuff, and just how Bob has a lot of problems in his head. I liked how the way his acting was. So, but Louis Pullman, he did a good job. He was the best part of the movie. And so, after that, then the Julie Louis-Dreyfus wants to destroy all the evidence, including them. So they tried to the incinerator, but they managed to get out. And that's when John Walker says, "Oh, let's just throw him back in the incinerator." I'm like, that's not John Walker at all, okay?
Dude, you already said that. You said that a while ago. You don't have to repeat yourself, man.
And so, they have to find their way out to find this other half of the void. And so, they get their butts kicked. They get trapped, you know, tied down. And Bob has to fight himself, his other half. And basically, and also another thing, the Sentry is supposed to be a villain, but it's another typical thing where they're supposedly the villain, but they're not the villain. Throughout the whole MCU, they've done the same thing over and over again, where they're villain, but they're not really the villain. And so he overcomes his other half, and it ends with them having a big group hug, like in therapy. Is this supposed to be this is the way taking their play on the deep thoughts of mental health? Sorry, it doesn't work. Oh, it's supposed to be taken on mental health. I'm sorry, I don't buy that.
Technically, Bob the Sentry is not meant to be a villain. Well, yes, he may be dangerous, but he's not a villain or the villain. It's basically the Void. Now, the Void is not meant to be like a spooky villain says, "Oh, I'm going to take over the world," or "I'm going to destroy Earth." It's basically a void in all of us, basically our deepest, darkest depression that leads to mental health. That's what it's basically the themes of. But especially when Bob is fighting the Void, and of course the Void got what he wanted, and basically devour him into the Void. So that's why Yelena runs, and of course the whole group of the U Avengers, or the Thunderbolts should I say, give him a hug to let him know that he's not alone. So that's basically the themes of mental health and also depression. So it is the point of the story, dudes. You have to realize that's part of the story. And that's a good thing that Marvel is exploring that theme, and that's never been explored before in the Marvel universe.
The proof is in the numbers. people are seeing, not just me, but it's superhero fatigue. I'm just saying. People are just getting burned down on superhero films. Why people are not liking any of these TV shows? Because people are getting sick and tired of superhero films. That's why I keep saying, the whole superhero genre needs to take a long ass, like a 10-year break. Don't make anything that's superhero related. No TV shows, no movies, nothing until for the next 10 or so years. Go away for 10 years and then come back, and then people will probably be interested again.
Whatever you say, Martin Scorsese 2.0, you amazing film bro, or whatever you are. Oh, finally, get a break from this guy. In conclusion, if you think mental health or depression is not worth the point of the film or the storyline, then you're a scumbag. Then that's saying something. Anyways, that's my rant over this guy, and also my overall response to him. So he's probably not going to learn anything from that. I want to say thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new here, why don't hit that like button, and of course comment down below and tell me your thoughts on this. And of course, if you're new to the channel, how about hit that subscribe button and hit that icon bell for more future videos like this. And of course guys, until next time, see ya!